Welcome to the St. Vrain Sports Report. We got a good show for you this week. We've got an Athlete of the Week feature on a football player from Skyline High School. We're going to take a look at state football and state volleyball coming up this week, as well as recapping state gymnastics and boys soccer. But first, we have highlights. Let's get right to it. Starting with some soccer, the Class 4A quarterfinals at Everland Montgomery Field. Silver Creek in the quarters for the first time ever, hosting Air Academy, and Raptors looking to get things going early and set up that shot, but the pass goes, there's just off the mark, and Air Academy ends the threat. A few minutes later, the cadets Thaddeus Doing is on the run. Silver Creek's Alex Sands makes the save, but Doing is there for the rebound and the goal. Raptors trying to respond. They've got a corner kick, and it's Jake Levin with the header, but it goes wide right. So they missed that opportunity there. Then Raptors with another corner kick, and Jacob Van Ends with a header, and a nice header at that, but Air Academy comes up with the save to keep the Raptors off the board. Air Academy with another great scoring chance, but the defense does a nice job to prevent a shot, and Sands corrals the ball to end that threat. Second half, Raptors down 2-0, and Andrew Van Ends gets a shot off, but it sails high of the net. Just another missed opportunity for Silver Creek in this one. And then Air Academy's Aiden Schwenke on the other end uses some nice footwork to get free and punches home the goal. Raptors fall 3-1 and finish the season at 14-2-2. Ethan Davis, the lone goal for Silver Creek, which has 13 seniors, a great run for that group. Frederick at Meade in football, 3A Northern Metro League title on the line. Both teams coming in at 9-0. Frederick knocking on the door early, but Dominic Schleif, he trying to get the edge, and he's taken down for a loss on third down by Kyle Johnson for the Mavericks. That will lead to this 32-yard field goal from Luke Dunker on a kick that might have been good from 52. That one was still going up as it crossed the goalpost there. Meade won up the Warriors on their next drive, though, as Devin Edwards took the handoff and went 25 yards for the touchdown. The Mavericks missed the extra point, but they were up 6-3 at that point. Warriors quarterback Jake Green then did what he's done all season long. Green is just a tremendous dual threat, one of the best in Class 3A. Here he scrambles for 40 yards, gets the edge, and weaves his way through the defense. 40-yard touchdown run. That would put Frederick back on top. Green rushed for 149 yards on the night. The passing game was not there for the Warriors, though. Early in the second quarter, Schleif would score to put the Warriors in a stunning 17-6 lead. Just 13 minutes into the game, Frederick ran for 248 yards on the night, but like I said, could not get much going in the passing game. That would be a factor. Meade would rally, though, after a 72-yard run from Braden Keys. Edwards finished off the drive with a 2-yard touchdown to pull the Mavs in 17-12. Keys ran for 149 and Edwards 71 in this game. On the ensuing two-point conversion try, it's Dylan Sindelar for Frederick making the stop, so that keeps the Warriors in the 5-point lead, 17-12, and going into the second half. But before halftime, Frederick backed up on its 8-yard line when Green tried to make a play, and like I said, every time they tried to pass, it just didn't go well, or nothing real big happened for Frederick. This time the tip pass into the arms of Trey Ward. First interception thrown by Green all season, and the Warriors get the stop, though, and they took that 17-12 lead into the break. So Meade unable to capitalize on that turnover. On the opening of the third quarter, Brady Velteen, he connected with Keys for a 31-yard touchdown pass to put the Mavericks in the lead 20-17. Velteen 12 for 19 for 213 yards. Warriors looking to respond, but here they are. They're looking to respond here. They fumble inside, or going into, approaching the 20-yard line, and Meade takes over right there, and another big turnover for Frederick in that one. Meade unable to capitalize, but still those turnovers just hurt Frederick in this one. Closing the third quarter, Dunker would hit his second field goal to tie the game at 20-20. Fourth quarter, Velteen connected with Ward, and he takes it 45 yards. That inside slant right there takes it 45 yards down to the Frederick 6. Velteen had not thrown more than 10 passes in a game all year. His high was 107 yards. This one, 213 yards for him in this one. A couple plays later, he scores on the 2-yard run to put the Mavericks ahead 27-20. A controversial touchdown called back for Frederick late in the game, and Frederick looking to tie, but they can't find anyone open here. Right here is Green. He scrambles around and gets sacked by the Mavericks. 1 of 4 sacks for the Mavericks on the night. Then, like I said, there was that controversial touchdown called back for the Warriors. Meade finishes off in victory formation, 27-20, and they are the league champions, and they take the perfect record into the playoffs. And we will take a look at those playoffs here in a little bit. A couple of notable things in girls soccer, which is obviously a spring sport, but Niwot has hired a new coach. Jenna Machado is their new head coach. Graduated from Fairview and played soccer at McAllister College in Minnesota. So the Cougars have a new girls soccer coach. In 4A state gymnastics, speaking of Niwot, the Cougars were down at state last week. The defending champions, they finished third overall. They were led by Mia Curry, the all-around champion. Did a great job, 37 points in the all-around. Also won the individual championship in the floor and was second in the bars and the beam. So Mia Curry with a fantastic meet down there. Savannah Slater, 9th in the all-around. She was also 7th on the beam and the floor. Mallory Christopher, 10th overall and 12th on the floor. And Olivia Stroka, 12th all-around and 15th on the floor. So the Cougars unable to repeat as champion, but a third-place finish and a nice finish for them in gymnastics. Let's take a look at boys soccer, which wrapped up last week. Second round scores. Silver Creek moved on with a 2-0 win over Stanley Lake. Golden 3-0 over Niwot. Cougars finished their season at 11-6, and Erie's season came to a close with a 4-2 loss to Skyview. The Tigers finished 11-5-1. Then there's that quarterfinal score. We saw the highlights there. Air Academy 3-1. Raptors finished 14-2-2. They had a 12-match winning streak snapped with that loss against Air Academy, but the best season in school history. They go deeper than they ever have before. They set a school record for best regular season record in program history by a half a game, and those 13 seniors, nice way to close out their careers. Volleyball last weekend had the regional tournaments and several teams involved in that. Let's take a look at what happened down there. Now, Longmont, they went 1-1 down at Montrose, lost in a tiebreaker to host Montrose, so their season finishes at 15-10. They were one of the lower seeds and kind of had a bumpy season by their standards, but still a solid season overall for a rebuilding, sort of a rebuilding year for Longmont. Meade goes 2-0 in Region 4, which they hosted, defeated Canyon City and Air Academy, both 3-0 sweeps in those. Mavericks 22-3, and they've got a 15-match winning streak. Silver Creek finished 1-1 at Region 7, and they finished their season at 19-6. And then Erie, they hosted Region 8, defeated Lincoln and Palisade both in sweeps, and they move on to the state tournament with an 18-7 record. So Meade and Erie moving on to state. Those two teams have played some great volleyball all season. Let's take a look at the state tournament. We're used to having multiple teams down at the state tournament in volleyball. Usually, though, it's Longmont or Niwot that are down there. Lions has been down there recently as well. But this year it is Meade and Erie. Thursday through Saturday at the Denver Coliseum will be the state tournament. Meade at 22-3. They are the 4th overall seed out of 12. They have a first-round bye. They will play the Coronado Dievelin winner at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday to get going. And Erie at 18-7. They are the 7th seed overall. They will play in the first round against Cheyenne Mountain at 12:30 on Thursday down at the Denver Coliseum. So go down there and check out those two volleyball teams. We're going to move on and finish up this show with some football. Lots of football to get to, but we're going to start with our athlete of the week, and he's a guy you've seen a lot and heard a lot about on this show. Chase Silva, the quarterback at Skyline High School, just a junior, but he has been just fantastic over the last 2 years. Took over as the starting quarterback, was supposed to be the backup last season. An injury to Nathan McGregor early on in the season. All of a sudden, Chase had to go in there, and he was just fantastic. Leads Skyline to the state championship game last year. This season, he's thrown for 2,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Also rushed for 3 scores. In the last 2 seasons, he's just shy of 5,000 yards. Passing, he's at 4,960. Also 59 touchdowns, and just one of the big leaders, one of the best players in Class 4A, and a leader for Skyline. He is our athlete of the week.
Everybody kind of counted us out this year in like more of a rebuilding season, but I think we've grown like a lot as a team on offense and defensive side of things, and we're rolling right now, but we can't get ahead of any team, and we can't put any team into the past. We got to play hard every week and, come out strong. I think this season's been more successful because those guys that had to step up, they know like they have a part to fill now, and that after our first 2 losses, we lost back-to-back. I think it kind of was like a wake-up call, and that like we have a chance if we play together and play as a team, and I think that was just the biggest part to our success this year. It's been a lot of fun. I just like playing with my team. I love all my teammates. Love playing together. Doing everything I can to help the team win is just my number one priority. So yeah, it's been fun. I had a lot of reps in practice along with Nate, and he helped me along the way, along with our offensive coordinator last year. And I think that led to my big success, is because I had people helping me out on my back that a lot of people didn't see behind the scenes, and they were helping me throughout the whole thing, especially Nate. I love playing in our offense because I get to throw it when I want. I just get to make the decisions. I get to run it if I want. I can throw it. I read the defense and decide where I want to put the ball, or what playmaker I want to give the ball. I feel like it is a more complete team in a way, because we have seniors this year that aren't just playing on one side of the ball and that don't just care about one side of the ball more than the other. And I feel like through the year that we've come together more as a team than last year, almost in a way, because we have to have the full team this year. Last year we had a few skilled dudes that could do it all, and this year we have a complete team that everybody has to do their own individual job. I really think we can make a run. Yep. We can't overlook any team, like I said. Ponderosa is going to be tough. They're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder because of last year. And then, yeah, we just can't overlook any team. Everybody's got to do their job and just play how we've been playing. I think we have a better shot with a side we have to win the games, of course, and do what we do to get there. But I think if we do get there, we have a better shot this year, just because Loveland was such a powerhouse last year. But yeah, I think we can make a run for it for sure.
Well, thank you very much to Chase for the time he gave us there for that interview. And boy, he's been just awesome to watch over the last 2 years. One more season left for Skyline, but he's certainly got some unfinished business later on this week and this season, hoping to play several more games for the Falcons this season. We're going to talk about the playoffs here in a minute. Let's take a look at the scores from last week, the final week of the regular season. Broomfield, 44-7 over Longmont in the Northern League, basically the Northern League championship game. Broomfield takes that championship there, finishes undefeated. Meade over Frederick in that championship game there in the North Metro League for the North Metro League title. Skyline over Loveland. Those two teams were tied atop the Longs Peak League going into last season. Skyline takes the league championship with a very big victory over Loveland, a team that beat them twice last year. Erie and Fort Morgan, they were both undefeated coming in, undefeated in league play, that is, coming into their matchup in the North Valley League. So Erie is the league champion there. Silver Creek, they end their season on a high note, 31-20 over Fort Collins, and Roosevelt 38-12 over Niwot. So some pretty good championship games. 4 of them decided league championships last week. Let's take a look at the final league standings from the area. In the Northern League, you see Longmont finished at 3-2 in the conference, so they finished 3rd overall. A pretty good regular season for them, but just kind of up and down at times. Broomfield takes that league championship. In the 4A Longs Peak League, it was Skyline finishing 5-0 overall, 8-2. Loveland defending state champion, 4-1. Like I said, a very big victory for Skyline to finish things off. Silver Creek finishes in 4th place. 3A Northern Metro League, Meade takes the title with that perfect record, and Frederick just behind them, 9-1. Great season for the Warriors, and they move on to the playoffs. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. And in the 3A North Valley League, Erie is your champion at 5-0 in the conference, 7-3 overall. They did a nice job rebounding from a tough start to the season. Then there's Niwot. They had a great start to the season, but couldn't quite finish. They finished 0-5 in league play. So a few teams are moving on to the playoffs, and let's talk about them real quick. Starting in Class 4A, where a couple of teams are playing later on this week. Skyline, the number 8 seed, they will have a rematch with Ponderosa. That was a semifinal game from a year ago. Skyline hosting Ponderosa on Saturday at 1 o'clock. The Falcons 8-2, Ponderosa at 7-3. And as Chase Silva said a little bit ago, they can't overlook this team, even though they are the favorite team coming into this one, because if they win, they play the winner of that game right below them, Longmont and Pine Creek, and either way, that's going to be a tough one. Pine Creek, the number 1 seed, they have been just tough all season. That's going to be a tough matchup for Longmont, but if the Trojans can pull off the victory, it'll be a fun second-round matchup between Skyline and Longmont. Trojans 6-4, Pine Creek at 9-1. That game Friday night down in Colorado Springs. In Class 3A, Meade is the number 1 overall seed, and they will host number 16 Harrison. Harrison comes in at 9-1, but certainly not the the power in their league as Meade had. Meade certainly had the tougher schedule this season. They are the number 1 seed at 10-0. Frederick at 9-1. They get a home game at number 6. They will host number 11 Thomas Jefferson, which comes in at 7-3. They'll play that game on Friday night out in Frederick. That'll be a fun game out there. On Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock at Jeffco Stadium in Lakewood, it'll be Erie, the number 9 seed at 7-3, and they will take on number 8 Green Mountain at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Green Mountain comes in at 8-2. So 5 local teams in the playoffs, and let's see, 3 of them have the higher seed. So hopefully we can get 3 or 4 of those teams, maybe all 5, through to the second round. Longmont needs to pull off a pretty good upset, but lots of playoff football coming up this week. Some pretty good volleyball coming up later on this week as well. I want to thank Blaine Robinson and Don Girton for all the behind-the-scenes work they do on the show, as well as Blaine for getting our video for us this week. Check out bocopreps.com and the Longmont Times Call. They'll get you up to date on what's going on in all the high school sports, especially with all these playoffs later on this week. Like us on Facebook and check us out on the web at longmontchannel.com, where you can watch this or any other programs you like here on Channel 8. And as always, we want to thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you again next week.